All right,
All
let's
right,
go
sir.
ahead. I'll go ahead and call to order, that's
Okay.
fine. Yeah,
Fine.
so go ahead, Gina, you can call the meeting to order.
Gwen Montal, Lloyd Meisner,
Lloyd, here.
Susan Harms,
Here.
Jason Pellin,
Here.
Kevin Creedy,
Here.
Sal Maniaci.
Here.
All right,
Rise
let's
for the
stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, the first item will be approval of the minutes from February 15th of '22.
Motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by
Yeah.
Kevin, second by Lloyd,
Yeah.
or vice versa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, our only item on the agenda today is for a request for a variance to reduce the side yard setback at 320 Locust. So I have it up on the slide here today. 320 Locust is a historic home at the intersection of Locust and 3rd Street, as you can see here. One thing I do want to point out before I get to the rest of the slides is that in this area of town specifically, a lot of times this happens in the older area of town, there are many homes and garages that do not meet current setbacks. You can kind of see here, almost every single one, I think except for this, has something that doesn't meet the 6-foot side yard setback. So it is common. You can see they actually used to have a garage here. It's been torn down. They'd like to replace it. We're putting a dormer and addition on here and a new garage. But given, since it is a replacement of an existing and an expansion, it does have to go through the variance process. And one thing I do want to point out, because our code, does mention sometimes, is there something peculiar or different about the lot that leads to the need for a variance. One thing also, since this is a corner lot, they have 2 fronts and 2 side yards, which is why you have a front yard setback here and then a side and a side. Some of these other homes that actually have deeper lots have a rear yard and still have the older garages that are separated that don't meet the side yard setback. And given that, you can see this zoning map just west of the property. This lighter blue is actually our downtown zoning where there are no setbacks. So a half a block over, you would actually be in the downtown district, which does not have side yard setbacks. They can build up to the property line, and actually it's the same on this darker blue. This is the C2 overlay that goes half a block north and south of 5th that also does not have side yard setbacks. This area here is R2 overlay, which does allow for single and 2 family, but in single and 2 family under our current code, anything that was new to be built has to have a 6-foot side yard setback. So here's some Google images, a street view of what was there previously. I think it was just torn down last year or within the past few months. And so this is what the carriage house was there previously. You can see kind of the buffer here. It's right, 1.5 to 2 feet from the property line. It's hard to tell with this being a little more overgrown how far in that property line is. I'll show you a survey in a second, but there is kind of a natural buffer there in between. And then you can see here from the view on Locust Street. Here's a survey of what is proposed, so not what was torn down, but actually what they're going to be building. And so the existing house, they do have the expansion with the dormer, and then you can see where the garage comes out here. And so the house is actually not perfectly parallel to Locust Street. It does turn east a little bit, which is why it's actually, I put in the application, it's minimum 2-foot side yard setback at this closest point, and then it kind of gets slightly further away as you move up. And you can see that here where the driveway, it's not perfectly parallel, but this is the area that they'll be replacing where the original garage was. And then here's the plans they submitted. These have already gone to Historic Preservation for review, and they have approved those, but the next step is for the variance process so they can get that. But you can see the back, this is the view from the back where the garage will be, and then this is the view from 3rd Street. And you can see that tree is still there and is proposed to remain. So that's kind of where it's at.
South.
Yep.
That is 4th Street.
4th Street, I'm sorry, yes, I've been saying 3rd the whole time, it is 4th Street. So, I don't know why I don't have that labeled on there, I probably do. So, there you go, 4th Street, okay. So I think that's all the slides we have. Staff has reviewed this, you know, we don't necessarily see a detriment to the surrounding properties in approving this. You know, I think in the past, we haven't always necessarily given a recommendation one way or the other, but given the nature of the neighborhood, that there are a lot of homes that have 0 setbacks on their attached garages, detached or attached, and the fact that there was one there historically, they're just replacing it. It's actually not gonna be any closer than it was previously, it's just gonna be larger in size and connected to the home. So I'd be happy to answer any of your questions, but obviously the applicant is here as well.
Do you guys have any questions?
Okay, I guess we typically let the applicant go up first if you have anything you want to add.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Jenna Understall. I'm one of, my husband and I are the property owners at 320. So the reason, first of all, just to kind of match what the neighbor's house who our property butts up against and to where we're talking about is Steve Sullentrup, and he has visited the location and approved it through us verbally. And it is just going to match what they already have as well. So we're just going to be 2 foot closer. They have a 4-foot buffer on their property line as well, like Sal mentioned. Apparently that's common in that area. We're also trying to kind of preserve a large tulip tree that is on the property, so we're nervous that the closer that we get to the tree, the more we could disrupt it. And then hoping for possible to hopefully fit 2 cars in the garage as well. So that's, just wanted to kind of restate some of the reasons why we liked a little bit of a buffer, or a little bit more. So, thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Oops, here to listen, okay. If there's no other questions for the applicant or staff, we can
Call the vote.
call the vote, okay. All right, I'll read the resolution. Whereas the board does find and determine that the property in question located at 320 Locust Street is within the city limits of the city of Washington and is located in R2 overlay zoning district pursuant to the city's zoning ordinance. And whereas the city code section 400.065 F2, minimum width of side yards 6 feet. Whereas the applicant is requesting a variance from these requirements by proposing a 2-foot side yard setback. Whereas under section 475.040 of the Washington City Code, the Board of Adjustment has the following power relating to variations, whereby reason of exceptional narrowness, shallowness, or shape or specific piece of property at the time of the original adoption of the regulations, or by reasons of exceptional topographical conditions or other extraordinary or exceptional situation or condition of a specific piece of property which conditions are not generally prevalent in the neighborhood, the strict application of the area regulations of this title would result in peculiar and exceptional difficulties to, or exceptional and undue hardship upon, the owner of such property. The board is hereby empowered to authorize, upon an appeal relating to such property, a variation from such strict application so as to relieve such difficulties or hardships. Now therefore, be it resolved that the request to vary the side yard setback distance from 6 feet to 2 feet is hereby granted for 320 Locust Street, provided that all other ordinances and regulations of the city of Washington are met. The Director of Planning and Engineering Services is hereby directed to issue a building permit for such dwelling as described in accordance with the resolution of decision. Gwen Montal, Susan Harms,
Yes.
Kevin Creedy,
Yes.
Jason Pellin,
Yes.
Lloyd Meisner.
Yes.
All right, by your vote, the variance is approved.
You're welcome. No problem.
And I don't have anything else on the agenda. I don't have any other applications, so we can just take a motion to adjourn.
Motion, go ahead.
I motion we adjourn. Second.
Here you go. Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
It's like Jeopardy. You need a buzzer.